Welcome, everybody, to another Beta Memoirs. Today was another day of just sideways action. I mean, when you come out the gate exploding like tech was going to take over the world again, and then you stall, you crap out, and you're right back where you started, and you just go sideways for the rest of the day. True story. Stock market in general today. So don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already, so you can get more videos like this about everything about the stock market. Do scalping, do investing, do swing trading. That's primarily what I do. And yeah, we like to have fun around here. Sometimes when the market is not making us money, well, it's not so much fun anymore. But we can still have a good time. But being said, today, SPY, on the new SPY channel, we did have the stimulus finally get past the Senate, and it looks like it should be in Biden's on Biden's desk by Friday. So that should be signed by Friday. But with that being said, today we had some really nasty chop. The bond auction was today. And so when that came out, I believe that was out around noon or 1 o'clock today. When that came out, the market really didn't know which direction to go. Everything came out as planned. It was kind of like a neutral stance. And the market essentially didn't know really what to think of it. I mean, overnight session, we might actually see something. I'm recording this at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the market really still has not even moved. But being said, we did have a big tech rip yesterday, so we may just be pulling back, recovering from that to help us continue forward. But another thing to keep in mind is that we do have the Fed next week, and that might be also what is kind of holding the market. I guess everybody is still expecting Powell to come out and say something. I don't know, but the bonds have essentially been floating around the same territory, and I think it's becoming old news. Being said, let's go ahead and get into the charts and see what we got going on. I myself, I sold a lot of my leaps. I sold all of my leaps. Matter of fact, I sold my Apple, I sold my Planter, I sold my... What else I sold? I sold some of my NMDM in one account today on the nice push-up. As soon as I saw it stalling out after that, Pelletier was up at like 26 today. It was pushing hard, and then it started dying. I saw the market. It actually held longer than when the market started to pull back and looked like it was getting ready to crash. So I sold all those positions in profit and looking to rebuy in if there's any kind of dip here. I'm not really sure there will be any kind of massive dip at this point. I think what we're going to see is a lot of sideways action. If that's the case, I wanted to reposition because everything is essentially down where I bought it. So instead of writing it back down, I'm just going to buy back in. Again, if it holds, I do have my long share positions. I haven't touched those. Those are I'm keeping through this bull run that I am expecting here shortly. Maybe ride this out for another week or two, see how that goes. Maybe once the Fed has their final say next week, maybe that will give the blessing, and then we start just rolling. But being said, as you can see, yes, I do have, there's a lot of resistance for SPY to break through. So there's been a lot of chop. We break and then a lot of chop, break and a lot of chop. So it's expected coming back up through resistance. But being said, new resistance is support. So we are getting some better support on this way up. SPY still chopping after hours. QQQ, it's still just chopping, trying to maintain that 200. But as long as it stays in this range, I'm okay with that. If it does come back down to the bull box, I think at that point maybe it takes one more dip. Hopefully we don't break. I don't think we're going to break, but I think ultimately we're just waiting on official signing of the stimulus, an official final word of Mr. Powell before next week. So we might see chop until next week. You might get some little pump and dumps. playing zones. Again, if you're not scalping, it's kind of one of those times to just be sitting out. If you're not accustomed to scalping, be very careful with it. It could be very risky if you don't know what you are doing. TLT, on that being said, is still playing range well. So the volatility is still selling off. There's no crazy. The dollar itself started selling off, which is good for the market. Market normally pushes up when that happens. Bitcoin, new all-time high. I think that's the new all-time high. Yep, new all-time high today. So things are looking bullish. We're just waiting to see what happens. Tesla, I scalped today. I scalped it once when it came in here in the third candle. I wrote it back up and didn't scalp it. I tried to scalp it towards the end of the day. It just broke even on it. So I did scalp that twice today. Airbnb, again, it's just, a lot of stuff is just chop. If you didn't have it going into this morning, like NNDM and Pelletier, I had those two going into this morning. They were pushed up nicely in the morning, well into the green, which was nice. And then I got out of those positions. Like I said, when I saw the momentum start to die out, the market was essentially crapping out before those stocks started falling back down. So I got out looking to reposition in those into this bullish run. Being said, Apple, nothing but chop. Apple, once Apple starts going, we can really start moving, but it's been playing some really nasty chop lately. We're going to have to see how this plays out. SQ had a nice pop. It's actually holding pretty well. It still pops and holds, so it's like leveling up or stair-stepping its way up, which is good to see on Square. Which Square is one of the ones I think is going to recover really fast. Facebook actually looked really good. I was looking at this earlier today, but I actually broke this wedge and we retested on the daily. So Facebook could be a big play coming either tomorrow or the day after, as long as the market cooperates. I think Facebook could start having that big rip back to 300 pretty soon here. One I'll be keeping on watch. EXPI, I like this one. But one thing is again, we have earnings, it looks like tomorrow evening. So I'll wait till after that before I decide to get in a position there. BYND, I've been actually looking at this. There's a lot of stocks that are consolidating right now. So it's kind of picking your poison. Again, I want to find a new base for this. I don't know if this new, this 140 mark, this 135 mark is the new base for this, but I'm going to kind of hold off and let it see how it plays out. Spot's been consolidating really nicely. A lot of these are consolidating nicely. A lot of these had a nice pop, and then actually had a nice pop and is holding well, so that's good to see. So that might actually be good tomorrow as well. Again, it's just watching. I'm looking at value stocks. Disney hasn't really recovered for the past 2 days. It looks like it's going to sell. Again, had some bad news. This is why I keep selling off. It looks like we're finally holding and getting ready to push back up. Palantir, this is the one I was talking about. I've been in this one since, I had a couple of leaps in this. I do have shares I'm still holding in this. But in that pop, I sold right at 26 today. It started selling off. I think I actually got out in the second candle when I was really struggling hard to even retest that high. Is when I sold it because I knew we were coming back down. And then again, it held pretty well. The market started selling off, so I got to see the market sell before this sold off and got out of that position. STPK has actually been pushing a lot today. I did have a small position in this at 25 that I did sell tomorrow. If this is back down in the zone, I definitely want to get another position on this one. So yeah, I'll definitely be looking for this one tomorrow. NNDM had a beautiful run yesterday. I was actually in the green when it started pushing up, and was actually worried about earnings, which is tomorrow morning. So after this pop, I actually sold it right at 10 because it looked like it was struggling before we had that the initial report coming out. I think about the bonds or something came out, and so tech popped real quick just before open, and then again it was looking like it was struggling, so I did sell it at 10, so I missed out on about 48 cents on that one, but ultimately I have a position in this one already. So again, I'm looking to, this is from a different account, so I'm looking to build this one. I do like it in NDM, but nonetheless, want to see what earnings does. If it does come back down to the 7, I'll definitely be loading on 7. If whatever reason it opens up tomorrow. So definitely be on watch tomorrow. Fastly, another good one that has a lot of potential, just waiting to see what happens the next coming weeks. Planet 13 still holding this one, waiting for this one to really break out on the daily. It looks like it's starting to break back above the 50 and retesting. So this actually looks really good, to be honest. If it gets above that 658 and breaking this trend as well, to break this trend. So this can be a real key spot here. We need to break that 660. If it does break that, we could really get some running back to 8 and possibly even higher. The very good butchers actually, this has been having a tough time, but it did end up hitting the 200, and looks like it's trying to start break above this trend and some of this resistance. So I do see that ultimately breaking out if here soon. And again, go back and retest all-time highs. I think all this stuff is coming. Just be patient with it. Looking to try to get back at that 7, if not more. Got a lot of good news coming up in the next coming months with distribution and the exchange. Evogen, I actually really like this one. It looks like it did break out of a wedge that was forming here. It's doing some sideways action, like everything else we've been talking about. There's still a good price point at $5. Great potential here. So I'm watching this one as well. CRNT still in this one, still in leaps in this one. Didn't sell this one. This one is kind of one of those stashed away in the back corner somewhere, so I don't see it. I'm letting that one ride out. MP is another one I really like. If it holds here, I definitely need to buy some leaps for the year on this one. Enphase, also a good energy play for this coming week. Walmart is actually broke above the 200. It looks like it's getting ready to run, so that might be a good play for tomorrow. If we're looking for some kind of value stock, Walmart could definitely be one of those. Space again looks great if tech decides to actually start running. Bingo, again, I'm just waiting. But it looks like it has great potential as well. BA, I know a lot of people are playing BA. BA had a massive run today. I don't play BA, and I get upset when I see these moves because normally I'd be like, yeah, I saw that coming, and then whenever I buy it, it does one of these numbers and sells off as opposed to go the other way. So, but Amazon holding, Google still holding extremely strong. Once tech actually decides to start running, Google, I think, is just going to tear off. So once Google actually, or the market, I should say, or tech in general starts to run, I can see Google really ripping up, especially after last earnings. They killed it. Win is still playing range right now. It's definitely been holding and not doing a whole heck of a lot. Just waiting, I guess, at this point. There's a lot of value stocks kind of took a hit when tech rotated, but again, everything is just sideways right now. We're just waiting to see what happens. QCOM could be a good one. They have earnings end of April. So being said, if you want to do earnings run up, I know there's a lot of stuff that is beaten down that may be a better opportunity, but I think Qualcomm could be a good one as well. So, but let's see, Z. Again, sideways, everything's starting to recover somewhat, so it is actually good to see that. SAVA, actually really good. I sold my position at 52 the other day. DraftKings has been doing phenomenally well too with the runs. WWE. It's pushing. It's almost all the way back up to 60 already. That was a nice play. I mean, I took it out here on this push here at the 52 mark, but I could have got back in, but is what it is. AMC, man, talk about a flush today. I saw this AMC and GME, massive flush, like $100. I know it was like $100 move in GME. This flush was just insane. From 349 to about 173, just massive flush today, all in one candle. That was crazy. I was actually watching it here, and people were asking if to buy the dip, and I was like, I'm not buying that dip. And it jumped right back up, man. That was like almost $100 move within a matter of seconds. That was just insanity. I mean, there's that stock GME was just insanity. I really don't want any piece of it because I don't want to be holding that bag. That is for sure. I want to be holding GME at 200. That is for sure. But being said, let's see. REI actually looking really good. Looks like it's starting to break out. Might actually gap up tomorrow. I'll have to see how that one works. Plug. Nothing special. Again, it looks like a lot of the other ones. Targets, a lot of the other ones. So yeah, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. A lot of stuff we're just waiting. It is March. That's one thing to keep in mind. Bonds, normalization, all this, the fear of the bonds and the yield curve and everything right now. It's definitely a good learning session, that is for sure, in understanding the way bonds work and the yields and how the Fed essentially plays them. But ultimately, again, we have the Fed next week. Stimulus has been approved. It should be signed again on Friday. Oh, yeah, the Roblox IPO was out today as well. I did not buy any. I want to wait on Roblox. I do like Roblox, but I want to wait, give it a couple days, let it die off. And then at that point, look to get a position, possibly even leaps at that point. It's hard to say because a lot of the gaming industry stocks, they don't move a lot unless you are really looking long term. I think eventually at some point, maybe like 5 years down the road, they could really make a dramatic play. But Roblox is definitely one of those ones you want to hold on to for a long time. So being said, remember to manage risk. Again, be safe. And until next time, guys, I'll talk to you guys later.